Today we are going to discuss the new topic about OpenShift cluster. And here we have to discuss about a resource that is available by default in OpenShift that is specially designed by OpenShift, but that is not available in Kubernetes. So what OpenShift did, if I first of all I will check OC, who am I? I am kubeadmin. OC API resources and just look for the template. So the resource is template, and this resource is not available in Kubernetes. And this template we can compare with Helm. So I will explain you how this is comparable with the Helm. And if you are confused about Helm, you can go to the videos I created on Helm topic in Kubernetes deep dive, where we discuss the Helm in detail. So we will not discuss the Helm here in OpenShift because that is already done. You can use the same way to connect Helm with your OpenShift cluster, whatever we use with the Kubernetes. So this resource is actually having some built-in manifest, we can say, and uh, this resource is using some parameters, same like the values we are using in Helm, and those values are customizable. So what OpenShift did, OpenShift actually is connectable with Helm, but OpenShift also decided to create their own resource that is comparable with the Helm. So uh, if I look in OC get templates, OC get templates in namespace OpenShift. So you can see by default a lot of resources created under this custom resource definition created by OpenShift. Cache service, Cake PHP, Tensor MySQL. Okay, this is the JBoss Java-based application. Okay, Postgres database, Jenkins, MariaDB, MySQL, Postgres, Redis, Node.js, lot of applications, web-based applications. So these are the default resources. We can create our own resource too, but this is not the topic we are going to discuss here. We can create our own template. So we will understand how we can use these templates, how we can customize the parameters associated with these templates. Okay, so these are the resources. So now uh, we get these resources in OpenShift namespace. We can create our own templates too in any other namespace, but by default, OpenShift behavior is to deploy their pre-built templates in at these locations. Now, uh, so as this is a custom resource, so if I just show you something like just like MariaDB persistent, it will also create a persistent volume. MariaDB ephemeral, it will create only ephemeral storage for testing purpose only. So let me OC get template, this template in namespace OpenShift and just look into its manifest. So you can see this is a complete manifest created by OpenShift and its kind is template. So we have not learned in Kubernetes how to create this template, but here we just have to understand how we can use this template to deploy our different applications. So now there is a command OC process and then hyphen hyphen parameters parameters I believe or parameter and the template I want to use MariaDB ephemeral in OpenShift namespace, this resource is, yes, this is a command parameters. So these are the default parameters that you can customize while deploying any application, MariaDB, a formal temporary database, temporary storage database. But we can customize all these values. We can change the memory, we can change the username, password, whatever. Similarly, you can pull the values from any template. Okay, very good. Now the question is how we can use this template to deploy our MariaDB, a formal database. So the way is OC new app. And we did a session on OC new app, how it is working. We defined the name and image previously to deploy the app, but here, uh, here, new app also has the tendency to use the template created by OpenShift. So I can use hyphen hyphen template and the name of the template, and then in the namespace where I want to deploy. So let me first of all do OC new project. I don't want to use the current project to deploy the application. OC new project, I can say database. Okay, and this new project is created. I am in this project. So OC new app template ephemeral, and what parameters I listed down here, I will use those. So how I will use, there is hyphen p switch to provide a parameter. You remember we use hyphen e to provide the environment variable, and in that case we use the image, but here we are going to use the template, so we will use hyphen p. So memory limit, okay, I don't want to change 512 MB is good. Database service name MariaDB, okay, no problem. MySQL user I would like to change. I create something like user one. Then I will create my this user password. I can say user one password, and this root password. Root password I can say 1 2 3 4 ABCD, and this MySQL database that I would like to create and that will associate with this user. I can say DB app1 DB. Remember these characters you can only use while creating the database and username and password. So if you are not defining this MySQL database very parameters, then in that will use this sample DB name. And hyphen p, I would also like to change this MariaDB variant. So by default, it will use this variant on Enterprise Linux 8, but I am interested in uh, latest. Don't use the older version. And in which namespace I are already jump into this. I created and I directly landed into database. That is the default behavior OpenShift. But in Kubernetes, whenever you create a namespace, you must have to specify hyphen n and the namespace to create the resource in specific namespace. So this is the complete command. It will use this template, these parameters, and just press enter. And here you can see the complete output is there, whatever variable we use, how we can connect, everything is mentioned here. And OC get all will give us the pod and replica and service and deployment, but it will not show you the secrets. It will not show you the persistent volume, a lot of other resources. Get all will only show you the limited resources. So we can see the deployment config is created. A service is created. The replication controller is the byproduct of deployment controller, this deployment config, and pod, is created by replication controller. And there are two pods. One is deploy and one is the actual in which the application. So Here we can see it is running, and deploy did some initial work before the deployment, and now this pod was just like a job. It it the job is completed, and then the actual database is running. But here the question is, what is this deployment config? So this is also a new resource created by Red Hat OpenShift. This is not by default available in Kubernetes. So OC API resources, and if I grab this resource deployment config, yeah, deployment config is a resource, and its short name is DC. So how deployment config is different than deployment? When we are using OC new app straightforward, it is using deployment, but here it is using deployment config. So the difference in deployment config is whatever image you will use to create a deployment config, it will create the replica set same like deployment. It will create the pod same like deployment. It will heal the pod if some pod is down or crashed. But the difference is if the image that was used with deployment config in the repository is updated, whatever image I use with the tag, and if that image is uploaded in the repository with the same tag, but it's with the new layers or updated layers. So this deployment config will sense the changes and will roll out the new deployment based on the new image, and it will pull down the new image automatically. But this is not the scenario with the deployment. Deployment is different. Okay, so this deployment is different in this way. With this the deployment config is different uh, with the deployment. So deployment, in deployment you can do rollout of new images manually, but deployment config is more intelligent. It can automatically sense the changes, and it can deploy the changes in the pod, and this deployer will again run, will pull the new image, and will roll out the changes in the existing pod, and will create the new pod. So now we can see this is created, but how many resources are created by this deployment? This is another question. So the answer of this question you can have all in these commands. So we use this command to fetch the image, we use this command to see the parameters, we use this command to deploy the app. So OC process command can also provide us the manifest of the resources that are created. For just like the deployment config created, the service is created, there is also a secret created. But how I can know that how many resources are created? So the answer you can get with this command. So OC template, we can use this command OC process template name and OC. First of all, I will show you OC get uh, tem templates. Template name is template name. We use MariaDB ephemeral. Uh, Shift grab MariaDB. Okay, MariaDB ephemeral. So OC get template. This MariaDB ephemeral in this namespace -OYML. So here, this is the complete manifest created by Red Hat OpenShift, and here the kind is template. We have not learned about this template in Kubernetes in OpenShift, but we have to understand how the existing template we can create. We can create the new templates too, but this is not the topic of discussion today. So this is the manifest, and here you can see a secret will be created, A service will be created by this template, a deployment config, and these are all the parameters. So with this way, we can see what resources it will create. Its mean OC get secret is also created by this template, and this is created, yes, 6 minutes ago. And OC describe secret MariaDB, so it will give us the whatever parameters we gave. These parameters are saved in base64 encoded format in this secret, and they are definitely mapped as a secret volume environment variable attached with the pod that is running. So with this way we can see, and the other way is we can use OC process OC process template name to process this template and generate the simple manifest so far we created. So template, and in this namespace and hyphen OYML, and for example I use uh, the parameter I will just leave right now. So it will generate the actual manifest so we understand in Kubernetes. So here you can see it's a secret. We know how to create a secret. It's a service. We know how to create a service. It's a deployment config. This is the manifest for the OpenShift deployment config. And here you can see the variables. Those will come from the secret. So if you provide, just a minute, let me now give you some OC process parameters of this template in OpenShift, and these are the parameters. So if I want to process with the parameters, I can also use this way. For example, I want to specify MySQL user1, my another parameter MySQL root password 123. I'm just giving you the example. MySQL password of this user 123, and another parameter database. So database name I can say db1. It will process the manifest with these values. Now you can see these variable values are changed. So uh, with this way we can generate the manifest. Now let me investigate OC get pod. Okay, this pod is database is running. OCRSH, this pod, I want to jump in this pod, and my MariaDB hyphen u root hyphen p. I remember the password 1234 ABCD I gave. I think I gave the wrong password. Let me try with the user one. User one pass. Yes, I am connected. I think I gave the wrong password of root user. So show databases. This database is created. So everything is deployed successfully, and the secret is created, service is created. Now you can create uh, your node port based service, or change the existing service with the node port so that the database is reachable from the external network. So this was the whole story about template. Now you know how to deploy the template. So any template now you can deploy. Now I will run this command once more. So get template in OpenShift namespace. So whenever you are using any database with persistent storage, it's just like Postgres persistent, MySQL persistent, MariaDB persistent, in that case you must have to supply the persistent volume. But if I do, for example, I do process OC process parameters of this persistent database in OpenShift namespace parameter parameter spell I did wrong, just a minute. Yeah, PARA is missing. PARAM parameters of this in OpenShift namespace. What parameter I spelled wrong, I think. What mistake I'm doing here? I think I'm typing the wrong command. Template name of the process OpenShift. Yeah, sorry, my bad. I was using hyphen O here. So here is hyphen N. Rest of all is same. So here OC process parameter, and these are the parameters we use with this uh, we use with this templates. We can use with these templates. Now, if I okay, so here you can see in these parameters there is nothing about the persistent volume. So remember, whenever you are using any template that need the persistent volume, it will use the default storage class. If you are confused about the storage class concept, I will recommend you to go through the Kubernetes deep dive section where we discuss the storage class concepts in detail. Pussycat storage class. So here we created the already created the storage class when we installed the OpenShift cluster, and after that we tried to create the storage class NFS based, and this is my default storage class. So whenever I will deploy any template that need the persistent storage, it will use the default storage class. Remember, your cluster can have more than one storage class, but only will be the default. So remember, so be careful that your persistent storage should go in the right storage class. So any persistent related template, OC get templates in this namespace, just grab the keyword persistent. So these are all the applications that need the persistent storage. So anyone you do a parameter check, so they will not provide the persistent storage related parameter. So it will use a storage class, default storage class. Okay, this concept is clear. Now, just compare about these templates with the Helm. So we can say the Helm is using the values and the template is using the parameters. Okay, we can say Helm is using those variables in the manifest that are available in specific location in the Helm chart, and just putting those variables to use your deployment. So same way the template is also using, but the Helm has a more in-depth scope. Just like if you are doing any persistent storage related deployment application in Helm, so it will definitely give you the option to use some different storage class, or it will also give you the option to use a default storage class. So with this way, we can use templates or Helm. Both are almost same, but now you have to understand. But Helm, the template will not be usable in Kubernetes. There you can only use uh, this Helm chart. But when you are working in OpenShift, you can use either Helm or uh, template. Both will be suitable for your deployment. You can get some pre-defined, created manifest online of different templates. Just like we are downloading the different repos of Helm and we are using the charts inside the repos. The same way we can use the template in OpenShift.